crowd.
Yeah, you see it in the crowd, the players. I think something you said, Staffy, resonated with me a lot as well, is that the manager, it's performance-based analysis rather than results-based. However, he's also stated that he knows that without the results, you don't get the time to get the performances right. And I think that balance is key. I can also accept that I actually think we were better against Bodo Glimt than we were against Everton. I would agree with that. But that's why when we were on the show Friday and people were trying to dig us out for not scoring more goals, I was relaxed about it from the perspective of there'll be a game that will come soon. I didn't realize it would be 2 days later where you're maybe not quite as good, but you score more goals, which is why the scoreline, although Liverpool's game yesterday is a prime example, that was more than a 2-0 victory in terms of the performance from Liverpool. It's just, uncharacteristically, that miss from Salah in the beginning of the second half, Van Dijk, if he was playing against Man United, would have buried all 3 of those goddamn headers as an example. And it could have been a very, very different day in terms of the scoreline. But the performance would have been absolutely no different had a few more of those goals have gone into the back of the net, as an example. So I agree completely. I like what he's doing so far. What we learned about the squad? I think not much that we didn't already know, if I'm being honest with you. It's just that it's been hard to analyze a lot of these players in the last year, because there hasn't been the structure for them to play from. There really hasn't been the structure for them to play from. And the bits I've liked the most, little things that rivals may or may not see. I love the width we have when we attack, whether it's the kind of 10s drifting out wide, like the second half against Bodo Glimt, or whether it's the fullbacks. We were much better yesterday at stopping ourselves being exploited in the spaces left by not having a left back and a right back. I quite like that. And I'm almost enjoying the experiment as well. We've seen Rashford play as a number 9. We've seen him play as a 10. Ahmad so far is the only one who's played, I think, the same position from an attacking point of view twice as kind of the right wing back. And he did okay against Ipswich. He was excellent yesterday and he grew into the game. And look, maybe he was always going to do it, but it's little bits of decision making where I think Garnacho might have still done it. And I'm hopeful that he learns from this as well. But Ahmad could have shot for those 2 opportunities that Rashford and Zirkzee got to make it 3-0 and 4-0. And that's also where United have been let down so much in the last 18 months to 2 years. We'll be 1 goal ahead or 2 goals ahead. We'll have loads of great openings, but everybody tries to go for the glory. Everybody tries to be the goal scorer, and they try shooting from distance, or they try the really hard opportunity rather than just a simple pass through for a player for an open goal to kill the game off. And I'm hoping that isn't just something Ahmad is good at. I'm hoping that it's come from instructions and talking to the players, because that's what I want to. That's a big area that we need to improve on. It's only the first time in a year that we've scored four goals. The first time in over 5 years that we've scored 4 or more at home and not conceded. We don't do that enough, and that's why I don't really care that it's Everton, because look at who we've played in that period. Even when we played Bodo Glimt, you look at the underlying stats of that game in terms of passes completed, touches in an opponent's box. It's the best we've had since 2004. I know it is only Bodo Glimt, but we've played a lot of teams of their level and below in that period and not been able to dominate them like that. And I think you have to look at those positives and go, right, more of the same, please. So, yeah, I've been really impressed the first 2 games, 2 Premier League games, first 3 games. My feet are so firmly strapped on the floor. You could fill me up with helium and I wouldn't float, bro. They're so planted in the ground. I'm not going to get I'm not getting carried away, but I am going to call out the things that I'm enjoying and things that I'm seeing that I like.
Now, I'm glad you came in and said that, because I was then going to ask Double A, because he said something about we've realized some players are better than other people thought. I think it's a little bit too early before we have that analysis. Maybe about 5 or 6 more games for that one. But the question I do want to ask up to the side is, because there was a lot of encouragement in terms of your performance on the weekend and from all of you United fans in the panel. Would you be confident if your manager took the same approach that he did on the weekend to Wednesday night, in terms of how he approached the game?
Because he won't
tactically.
So he won't.
He
approaches games a lot different. What's that?
You haven't got the players, so you're missing Mino and Martinez, aren't you, on Wednesday?
It's a good thing we're missing Martinez. I don't want him in this game anyways. But Mino, obviously, he's a miss. But he's been injured for a while. So let's be honest. I don't think we expected 90 minutes from him anyways. But just to touch on what Kunle just said, no, I don't think we'll approach the game the same way anyways. Because, first of all, you have to be very stupid to go away to the Emirates and put the same game plan that you put at home to Everton. And that's no disrespect to Everton, but I mean the gap between this Arsenal team and this Everton team, let alone being home and away, is insane. You know, so of course any footballing mind would not approach the game the same way. I think one thing me, Double A, and Terry could tell you so far is that our team is very unpredictable now in terms of we don't know how we're gonna set up. We can tell you the shape, but we can't tell how we're gonna set up tactically and who the personnel is. And that's one thing we didn't have under Ten Hag. Ten Hag most of the times played his favorites. Most of the times, if you knew certain people were available, they will play. And most times we didn't even rotate. Whereas I've been paying close attention to every press conference Amarim has right now, and he talks about managing minutes and managing injuries a lot. Because we do have, I didn't even know that we have 11 games in December. We play a game approximately every 3 days. We have an injury-prone squad. Most of them are recovering, so it's almost impossible to expect these players to play 90 minutes, or most of them to play 90 minutes in back-to-back games. And we've seen over the last few games, and probably that's the best thing that happened at Everton is that we scored a lot early. We were able to take out some players at 60 minutes. The likes of Mazraoui needed a rest. He's been amazing, but he took him out 55 minutes. Great. He got an extra 30-minute rest now and didn't have to play the rest of that game. De Ligt came off early. I think the only reason he left Martinez is because he knew he was finished for Wednesday anyways, so he might as well left him. He actually put him in right center back, which was very odd. But most of the players he's been rotating, and some players that I think will be important for the Wednesday game didn't even play. So I think Højlund needs to start against you guys. I think Mason Mount needs to play against you guys, and Mason Mount got 10 minutes, and Højlund didn't get any minutes at all. So I don't think we'll approach the game the same way at all. I think he has to respect who you are as a team and what you guys bring, you know. So we're not gonna try to keep the ball against you, as an example, because we're not good enough to keep the ball against a team like you guys.
Do you think it'll be more akin, Staffy, to how Amarim's Sporting set up against
Man City?
Man City,
it'll
absolutely.
it'll be a counter-attack approach to that game, which again, look, I don't feel that confident about that game, if I'm being honest, because Arsenal look amazing at the moment. But I'm quite looking forward to, again, seeing a different side to an Amarim setup, playing a bit more pragmatically, absorbing the pressure and countering, which he's had to do on a number of occasions, because Sporting, no matter how good they've been domestically, there's a limit to what they can do in Europe because they just don't have the funds of other clubs. So I think it will be a pragmatic approach. How do you, from your point of view, Kunle, as an Arsenal fan ahead of the game, any concerns, any worries, or do you feel this is going to be easy pickings for the Arsenal on Wednesday night?
To be honest, like the history of this game is the history. So at the back of my mind, I'll never go all gun blazing and not think, man, you could do anything, because we've seen you come to the Emirates with worse teams and get 3 points. So I'm not going to be stupid and say that. But some of the things I saw yesterday, hey, if you try that stuff with Odegaard and Saka, wahala everywhere. I'm very confident going into this game. I'll be honest. I see us scoring at least 3 goals. That doesn't mean you guys won't score. I see us scoring at least 3 goals in the game. I think that there's enough of our game and how good it's looking for me to be confident that we'll create a lot of chances, especially without the likes of Martinez and Maino. If they were there, I might be approaching it a little bit differently, but those are big losses for your team. And old Man U fans will say they're 2 of their better players. I don't know about Staffy in terms of Martinez, though. But yeah, I'm quite confident going to the game. But it's still the biggest rivalry in Premier League history. Anything can happen. And in terms of the Premier League, Amarin in a big game is still kind of unknown. So, Omar, let's not be too overconfident going into Wednesday.
I mean, saying you're going to score 3 goals is quite overconfident.
I do believe we'll win.
See, this is where I think, look, I have to say, like, looking at the first 3 games, I don't think taking anything from those 3 games might shock you a little bit, Kunle, because I don't think he's going to set up like any of those 3 games where I think United are meant to be the team with the impetus and look to win. Even at Ipswich away, I still think United should be that team. I just think it's going to be very similar to the City game, and I think he will just look to strangle you, and then look to break on you, which I think we will. I could even see Garnacho playing because of that, because I think he want that outlet and for him to run. But I'm not saying I agree with that. I just think that possibly could happen. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think for me, it's still one of the biggest games in the league, regardless of where these two teams are for me, because I grew up with that rivalry. So, you know, I wish it was us two going for the league. I hate you too, but you know, at the same time, it's one of them where I'd rather be facing you and go for the league than the other two teams. You know what I mean? So,
100%.
I mean, it's going to be a good game regardless. I think.
Yeah.
If Garnacho starts, I'll start rubbing my hands. But that guy's trash, man.
He's not trash, but still okay.
He's going to be playing in the Championship in 2 years, or Galatasaray or Fenerbahce or something.
Is he going to City? Yeah, in the Championship. Yeah.
Hey.
Nobody's just minding his business down there.
We'll see.
Sorry,
see.
mate.
I got unnecessary strain.
I drive by,
enough.
sorry.
I've suffered enough over these past few weeks.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot Nubbins was here and he took that straight.
There's a super chat here that says, do you think Amorim will turn Anthony around?
He'll
He's
turn
a
him
good
around
manager.
and direct him to the airport. That's
to the
what he-
door, yeah, to the
the
exit
airport's
door,
that
yeah.
way. That's
Go
what
that
he-
way, pal.
Yeah, he's probably been, again, when we say we haven't really, I haven't learned too much. I didn't know about the players. He had a chance at fullback the other day, and he was the same at fullback as he was when he plays at the attack. He got into really good positions. He beat men. So like, use your right foot and cross it in, cut it back. Tries to do some weird pass on the outside of his left foot and messes it up. I just can't with that guy. Get rid ASAP. Don't see an Arsenal win. The football gods are with us. Believe is what Harold here, who's a Manchester United fan, says here.
The realistic result is for Arsenal to win, though. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Of
That
course
should be the expectation. They're in very good form. I don't think we'll get battered like some other fans have been saying. I've been hearing some Arsenal content creators saying they're going to batter us. I don't think so. You got to put in mind that we are the second best defense in the league, right? Whether you like it or not.
I'll be honest. I think this season. This is if you want to get a battering in. If you want to go into games not worrying about Man United, this is your last campaign to do that for a while. I think over the next 2 to 3 seasons, we will become a much stronger and much better team with the way we're now being structured as a club. The head coach we've got running that up, where everybody on the same hymn sheet. It's the first time in 11 years we've been operating in the right way. So we will improve. So, yeah, I can understand why clubs are so desperate to batter us because they know it. Rival fans are aware United are operating properly now as a football club. Maybe not with the ticket pricing, but outside of that, and that's everybody. Do you know what I mean? The fact that all of our clubs have come together to protest that at the same time shows you. This here from Red Indian, who's a Liverpool fan, he says there was a moment where Garnacho had good space. It was 3 versus 4. He cuts in thinking about shooting, realizes the angle is not good and gives it away. He should be coached to keep it simple. Top player. I think you can be taught to do the right thing in those situations. I think you can. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Ahmad doesn't always execute it right because in the first half he made some poor passes when he was in good positions. But it's the idea, and it's the idea that I never really have a go at people messing up if the idea is right. If that makes sense, it's the idea is right, then it's the right thing to do. The only time Kate does not look beautiful is when she hears Arsenal.
Where? She hears or oh, never mind.
She is. Unless I've misread that.